So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. We appreciate the time that you've taken to be with us this afternoon. Today we'll be looking at extending your GIS out into the field using some of these great applications that we have, being Collector for ArcGIS and Survey 123. We will do this in two sessions. I will start, and then my colleague here, Anthony, will take you through the next session, which will be on Survey 123. So in case you have any questions or comment, you can simply just use the Skype function for commenting, and we'll be able to answer the questions if it's a question, or basically just read through. So thank you very much, and again, welcome. I'll be able to start with the collector application for ArcGIS, and again, my name is James Meridi. Karibu sana. So GIS isn't really complete without being able to extend it out into the field, and field work is one of the most important aspects of a complete GIS. And as we knows this, that's why we were able to come up with two great applications for data collection. Of course, one of them being Collector for ArcGIS, and Collector is downloadable on Google Play, free download if you're using Android, and if you're using iOS, you'll get it on the App Store. And then I think Windows Store was recently supported, so in case you have your Windows tablet, you should be able, or should be in a position to basically go to the Windows Store on your Windows and download it and use it on your Windows tablet or your Windows PC. So Collector for ArcGIS, like I've said, it's a very easy to use application. It is map centric. That means as you can see on the right side, there's a map on the center. So basically, it's what you see is what you get. It is also, like I've mentioned, it supports Windows fully. You get the application on Windows and you can be able to use it from there. And one of the new additions is the use of high precision GNSS, whereby instead of using the internal GPS sensor on your smartphone, you can be able to now sync your GNSS device either from Trimble or other providers using Bluetooth, and Collector for ArcGIS will be able to read those messages from your GNSS, which will be more accurate than using your internal sensor on your smartphone. So Collector works with other great applications for field operations, and normally we start with the desktop where we plan our work. We plan basically what we want to collect. We can do a schema on the ArcGIS for desktop. Then of course we publish this to the ArcGIS online or your portal for ArcGIS. Apart from these, we do also have the other field operations or applications that can actually help you. For example, if you want to be able to coordinate with your field workers, you have a number of field workers, like about 20 of them. They're out there in the field all over the country or over the continent. You'll be able to use Workforce for ArcGIS to send them data or projects that you want them to work on. And you can send to individual people, and they'll be able to get alerts on their Workforce for ArcGIS application and tell them exactly what they want to do. So once they get this work, they can be able to use Navigator for ArcGIS to navigate to locations on the map. Maybe they're in a new area that they don't know, and you've sent them a piece of work. They want to navigate to that place. They can use, again, the freely available application we're calling Navigator for ArcGIS. So you can also download these applications on your Play Store, rather App Store, and all of your fieldwork will be well managed. So finally, we have the Collector for ArcGIS that we'll be using, which you're using for data capture. So as an example, what are people using Collector for? We find there are different ways you can use Collector, and one of them is to manage your assets. Collect your asset inventory out there. Probably is one of the major functions that GIS should be for, is bringing your assets together in a map, and you can use Collector for this very easily. You can also use it to ground truth locations of assets, of points of interest, etc. by basically navigating to these locations that you have and be able to make comments, or rather just update on your collector for ArcGIS maps that you have. The other is requests for different map change that might be there. For example, someone needs to make a request, whether it's a meter request, meter reading request, change, all those things. You can be able to design a quick schema, publish it, and be able to use it for that particular purpose. The other thing you can do is you can use it to inspect existing structures or assets. For example, there you can see my guy on the right side, he's inspecting that culvert just to make sure that it's working properly. He can take a picture of it and send it back to the office in real time, and people will be able to see that and decide what needs to be done thereafter. You can also maintain and replace infrastructure. Again, if there's a big issue or an issue that has been noted with your asset, again, in this same case of the guy on the right side, if there's a problem with that particular asset, the culvert, he can be able to request for it to be replaced straight from the field. You can also use it to mark violations, assess damages, and even use it for control points, especially when you use it with these GNSS receivers that you can be able to synchronize with that are much more accurate. So deploying mobile solutions into the collector for ArcGIS is rather easy. First of all, one of the ways you can use feature services, feature layers that you publish to ArcGIS Online or a portal for ArcGIS. These are editable, of course, so you can be able to consume them straight from your collector after you create a web map from these feature services. You can also use your location tracking layer. You might have a tracking layer that you have configured, maybe for tracking your assets, etc. You can be able to bring this into your collector for ArcGIS and be able to view them or view your assets as they're being tracked. You can be able to view your base maps. And one other important thing that you're able to see with collector is that you can take this offline, so that in case you're in an area without network, you can be able to view your base map and your operation layers straight for you on your collector for ArcGIS. And when you come back to an area with connectivity, you're able to synchronize back to get new updates from the office and be able to sync back the new data that you have collected or updated from the field. Then for you to be able to share this with your workers, one of the best is, first of all, if you do not have the field workers added into your ArcGIS Online or portal for ArcGIS, you can be able to create the named users for each field worker you have out there, and then invite these field workers to a particular group in your ArcGIS Online or portal for ArcGIS, and then in this particular group you can now share the maps you want them to consume. They don't have to come back to the office to be able to begin a particular project or task. They'll just be able to log into their group on the collector, log in, and be able to see the maps that have been shared with them from the office, and from there they're basically able to take it from there and do the work that is there. So like I said, you can have your feature services which are editable, and these are supported on ArcGIS Online, which is the cloud, or on your enterprise setup portal for ArcGIS, and you can be able to consume them from here. Whichever way you decide, whether you use the cloud or your own enterprise setup on premise, is all up to you. We support all this. Then definitely we support the operations we support is editing. You want to be able to collect data out there, so you can do that with any of your feature layers or feature services. You can be able to synchronize this back to the office. Again, it's two-way, synchronize to receive new updates or send the updates that you've done back to the office. Apart from this, we want you to be able to interact with the collector for ArcGIS. You can be able to define exactly how the form should be and how you want to view it, and also be able to take advantage of pop-ups. You can just be able to tap on any feature on your map to bring up more information about them. Those are what we call pop-ups. And the other big advantage now with the collector is that you're able to take advantage of the geodatabase capabilities that you've been having on your desktop. For example, be able to consume your domains and your subtypes, be able to view related tables, take advantage of feature templates, validate fields as you enter them, and of course be able to view your tracking layers and be able to edit them at the same time. So for you to start off, we're saying you don't really need to start from scratch. There are quite a number of templates that you can use, and you can use them as they are, or you can basically start to fine tune them, make them exactly the way you want them, customize them the way you feel they should be. So for example, you can see there on the site we have quite a number of examples that you can begin. Whether you work, for example, in the utility sector, you will find some of the templates that you can be able to take in and start using immediately, or be able to customize them the way you exactly want. We have over 60 collector-based solution templates that you can take advantage from. So we're saying you don't really need to start from scratch. You can be able to start from somewhere and be able to fully get started and customize the solutions based on your needs for your organization. One of the best features we had with Collect, I think this was really requested for a few years back, is the capability to take your maps offline, because we realize that the areas that sometimes users want to go to, they don't have access to internet. And the first release of Collector for ArcGIS really didn't have this feature. So if you lost network, basically you lost the maps that you're working on. So with this collector now, you're able to take your maps offline with you and basically get the full advantage, or basically immerse yourself in the whole experience of viewing and interacting with your maps, all the maps that you have. You can be able to measure your distances and areas as you need, view pop-ups and media that have been downloaded on your maps. You can be able to search for features, and these are all the features that you have on your map. Collect and update features, again, be able to synchronize them between the field and the office. And the reason for this is because you're able to request that the map that you're working on, the web map that you're working on, you want to be able to create new data, you want to be able to update content, delete features, because you've enabled the sync features. Still, you're able to take advantage of your tile map services. You can download them, and this is whether they're on the cloud or on your on-premise setup. So we have all these supported. You can easily be able to take anything you want offline with you until you get a good network whereby you can be able to now proceed from there. Apart from making use of the templates that I mentioned, we have people who basically want to have control of the whole process, and this is we're saying that you can be able to take to author the map you want from your ArcGIS desktop, design it the way you want, design the schema the way you want, then push it or publish it to the ArcGIS online host account or your portal based on the setup that you have. Then from this portal or ArcGIS Online, you're able to now go ahead and download it using the collector for ArcGIS application. And then after you download the data, you're able to view, make queries, edit your data, and then once you're done, you can synchronize this back to your ArcGIS Online or portal for ArcGIS. And then from there, of course, it goes back to the end user or the back end where you basically started from. So the whole process goes from the from the authoring of the map to the consumption of the map back on the collector for ArcGIS, and then of course being able to synchronize these features back and forth as you want. Then we have other companion applications that I can mention. One of them is Navigator for ArcGIS. So you could be collecting your data on ArcGIS, on Collector for ArcGIS, and then you realize you're in a new area, you have a feature on the map, you want to navigate to that particular feature from your current location. You just need to tap on the feature, and then the Navigator for ArcGIS will open and navigate you to this particular destination. After you're done, it goes back to your collector, and then you can continue updating your feature, or basically being able to make changes to the attributes that you have of that particular feature. So Navigator for ArcGIS is another great application that you can be able to use on your mobile device that supports all your workflows. The other one, like I mentioned, is Workforce for ArcGIS, and this allows you to manage a number of field workers that you may have, assign them tasks, send them these tasks, for them be able to open these tasks on their mobile devices, navigate to these assets or features on the map, update the attributes or positions or location of the particular features, and then send them back again to collector for synchronization. So we're saying that we have all of these applications that are just waiting for you to start consuming them and using them as you want them. So let's look at a demonstration of collector. And what I wanted to do is, I know that most of us want to see how do you begin all this from scratch. How do you get started? You know, that's always a good question. So I have an empty map with me here. I'm just going to open my catalog and then probably just use my folder connections there on the side. I'm going to start from scratch so that you have no excuse on how you can get started. I'm going to start by creating my file geodatabase. And then I'm just going to rename it to utilities. Alright, so I have my database ready. Then in there, the first thing I want to do is create a new feature dataset. I will house all my feature classes. So I'm going to call this just anything fieldwork. I'm going to go next, and then here I'm just going to go with WGS and then finish. So now I can go to my dataset and create my new feature class. And what I want to collect is a pole, an electric pole for instance, and that's definitely a point feature. Go next, and then for here I want to be able to collect the material that has constructed that particular electric pole, and then maybe the install date. I don't want to put too much. That's date, and then I can go ahead and finish. Let's have a line feature. I want to update maybe some roads, and this again is a line feature. Go next, and for this I just want to have the road class, which will be text, and then we can probably say the name of the road, which will be text, and then I can just quickly finish. Alright, you've noticed something about these two things. I've said that here on the fields we have a material that we need to put. So for that we use domains. So I can go at the database level, right click that, go to properties, and then just add materials. It will be holding text, so I'm going to change that to text. And then for the materials, I'm going to have W for wooden, M for metal, C for concrete. And it's always good to have other just in case. Then apply. And then for road, we also had a road class, so let's add a domain for that as well. Let's just say road. It's gonna hold some text. Then we can have T for tarmac, M for maram. Just have O for other for now. Just have that is enough for now. Click apply, and we're done. First thing we need to do is at the dataset level is add some global IDs, which basically will uniquely identify every row of data that we add. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and say yes. So the other thing we want is the ability for us to capture attachment on each feature that we collect. So I'm just gonna go at the feature class level and create attachment for that. and the same thing for roads. I'm gonna create attachment for that. So it's looking good. I think so far that's good enough. I can just go ahead and save this. Before I save this map, I want to know where exactly I am and be able to add onto the map a default extent. So I'm just gonna add simple base map from Esri, and with that I can probably be able to create or probably add in a default extent to the area that I know my users, my field workers will be at. So just give it a few moments. This streams the base map from the internet, so that could take a few seconds, and then just probably hopefully I can capture the area that I'm interested in with one zoom on the map. Again, give it a few moments for it to load the new refreshed base map for the location that I have selected. I can see Kampala, Kisumu. The references have loaded up. Let's just give it a few more seconds for the map to load. Again, this is just to allow me to set up the extent of the map that I know my users will mostly be in. Good. Oh, I'm right on the country. That's good. So a few more seconds. All right, then I can go to my main data frame and then go to properties, data frame, specify extent, and then select no current visible extent, click OK, apply, and then I'm good to go. So I can remove my reference and my base map. Good. Then I can save the map, call it then save it, and then I can sign in to my ArcGIS online account for me to be able to publish it. I'll go ahead and sign in. That's fast. Great. Now I can share this. I'm gonna leave that the default. Just gonna put it there. Continue. And for the capabilities, I basically want the feature access because I want to be able to edit my map. I want to be able to create data. I want to be able to delete data, make queries, synchronize data, and then of course update information. So this is a utilities map, so I'm just gonna make all these additions, just put in the tags there, and then after that I can simply go ahead and publish it. So that packages everything together in a package that can then be uploaded to ArcGIS Online, ready for consumption. So this basically publishes the feature service that then we can go to and save a web map from that. So processes everything, prepares everything in the background for you, and makes it ready for easy consumption. Alright, so that was successful. So I can just basically minimize that. There it is. You can see it there on my hosted services. So the next thing I want to do is probably go to the my content page, refresh it. Yeah, there we go. We have it. It's been published, my feature layer. I can click there and say add to new map as a new map with full mapping and editing capability. So that's loaded. That's my default extent that I set up on the desktop. So again, here it's telling me to change a few things. I'm just gonna go no for now, cancel. I can change the style, select the material that I did earlier, say yes. Yeah, go with the unique style. Click done. Okay. All right. So that's good. So after this, I'm just going to save the map. Just put it here. Put tag in there. Oh, you're just gonna forgive me for that. This allows you to easily find the map that you want. So good, there we have the map. So we should be able to find it on my collector for ArcGIS application. I'm just going to minimize that. Minimize that again. Open my mobile device. So now my collector for ArcGIS is loaded up on the screen, and I'm gonna refresh it to get the new maps. And there you can see the map is one of them, the A webinar. And now what you want to do is simply start to download it so that you have it in offline mode whenever you don't have any network. So they're asking me for the base map I want to select. I'm gonna go with the first one that I had already downloaded with me there. Then I'm gonna download that, and then once I do that, you can see that now I have a status bar telling me the file, the download has gone. So just give it a few moments for you to just go ahead and download the content of my map, and then once it's done, I can be able to take this map offline with me. So a few moments. And once it's finished, simply open the map and you're good to go. And you can see already at the top here I have 28 maps that I have with me that I can download, that I can work with. So you can have as many maps as you want. So again, there at the top you can say you want to see the maps you have here at the top here, this section. You can see all the maps you have on your account that is ArcGIS Online, or simply the ones you have on your device, the ones that you have downloaded. So if you select on device, you will see only the ones that you've been able to download, and one of them is the map that we have. So I've opened my webinar map, and there we go. There's the map. First thing you see is, like I said, it's map centric. You can see the map that we downloaded. I didn't want to download quite a lot of data, so I just only concentrated with where I know my workers will be. So I can zoom in like that, and there my content. Then for your receiver, your GPS, you can see the summary of the accuracies, how many satellites you have, basically like you're used to seeing them on your other GPS devices. So the interface is quite easy to use. get a GPS position, simply just tap the first icon, which is this one right here, and that will be able to give you your GPS coordinates. Then the second thing, for you to collect data, just tap on the plus here. And once you tap on the plus, you can see now a list of your layers appears. You see we had an electric pole and a road, so I can go ahead and say I want to collect an electric pole, and I can use the current date. So these are the attributes that we had. So for starters, I can tap here to use current date and time. That's quite easy. That brings this for you. You don't really have to enter anything. And then for the material, once you tap there, you can. I think one thing you see that I forgot was to apply the domain to my feature layer. That's why you cannot see anything. Otherwise, it should have been able to give for me the list of domains that I had there. So I can just simply put in whatever I want. Concrete, and then again, most importantly, I can tap on camera, and then we're gonna have a camera pop up, and we can take a picture of ourselves and you know, and Anthony here in just a second, and then you can take a picture. So there, that's me and Anthony in the dark. Okay, and then let's take a picture. No, I didn't. There we go. There's the attachment. So I can then go ahead, and you can see at the top it's saying missing location. I can just go to settings and say look at the GPS, and because I'm inside a building, that's why we have no location. So I can simply just go there and tap on the map just to give it a location update. So I'll disable the averaging, click OK, and then just tap on the map, and then it should be good to go. So I have one device, one updated feature, and then like I said, we have Navigator for ArcGIS, and I can use this for directions. And once you tap on your feature, for example, this one that I've collected, I can say directions to here, and that opens up what we're calling Navigator for ArcGIS, and that signs in and opens for me with that particular feature that I have, and I should be able to now ask it to navigate for me to that location. So one more second for it to load up. Pick up, open the map, and there's the map for me. Yeah, exactly, there you go. So it has already calculated the route, and I can simply now tap to go ahead and navigate to that particular feature. As easy as that. Once the navigation starts, you can be able to drive or walk to that particular location. As easy as that. All right. So once I'm done, I think because of my poor location, it's able to calculate a position for me. So you have to be outside for you to be able to use some of these features. Ignore the warning, and then you can start the navigation. All right, so that's good. Yeah, you can hear that you have that assistant voice who tells you exactly where you are.
Go west toward Kilimanjaro Avenue.
Perfect. So we go back to the collector application. We've collected one feature. I'll just go back, and what you will see, I've gone back to collector. Yes, there we go. It's updating. I have one sync to make at the top. So you can see this is the map that we just worked on, and I have one sync to make, and if I tap it, it now sends that data back to the server. So if you have collected 5 features, there'll be 5 features, 100 features, there'll be 100 features, however many you have, they'll be able to be synchronized back to the server. And when that happens, you can go back to your map, do a quick update, and you should be able to see that position on the map. So there it's updating and it's finished. Perfect. So I can go to my map. Yep, and I can see my point. I can tap it. I can see the attributes, and I can click on attachment, and that should open for me the picture that we took of me and Anthony. And if I still went back to my arc map, if I dragged my exactly, I can just do a quick drag of that. Hopefully the map will update, and there we go. I can use my identify tool on ArcMap to click it to view the attributes that I have, exactly the same that I have on the web. I can click to view the attachment, and the attachment should open up as easy as that. So very fast, you have been able to create a schema, publish it, create a web map, save it, and then be able to consume that on Collector and Navigator for ArcGIS, and then bring that data back to the office. Thank you very much. I will now give control to Anthony, who will take you through Survey 123.
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Gakopo. I'm going to present to you Survey 123 for ArcGIS, which is a field app. So in our today's presentation, we are going to take you through the introduction to Survey 123 for ArcGIS, the features for Survey 123, how it works and used, how to create survey on desktop and on the web. So just to take you through the brief introduction to ArcGIS for the field and how it features or integrate with the ArcGIS platform. Survey 123 for ArcGIS is a field app which runs on device and the web. As you can see, it integrates well with the ArcGIS platform, which the platform encompasses the portal, the server, and the online content. So in a nutshell, the ArcGIS for the field, Survey 123 is one of the app, and the Collector for ArcGIS is another field, that's another app that we are going also to be taken through by James. So Survey 123 for ArcGIS. What is Survey 123? It's a simple, intuitive, form-centric data gathering solution that makes creating, sharing, and analyzing surveys possible in just 3 steps. So it's an app, it's a mobile app, it's a web app, which we are going to explore further and see its simplicity and the form-centric part of the Survey 123. So what are the requirements for Survey 123 for desktop? Survey 123 has 2 applications that you use to build it. You have the desktop applications, which is called Survey 123 Connect. And this, as we'll be able to see, is form-centric. It's an XLS form, which is standard that simplify the authoring of the form in Excel for Windows and OpenOffice for Linux. So you also require an ArcGIS organization account to publish and share the survey. So the desktop application, when you go to survey123.arcgis.com, you get the download survey. So it is here that you download the installation application for Survey 123 for both for Linux, for Mac OS, and for Windows, as we'll see later. So that is actually what you get once you visit the survey123.com. So you can see that the Survey 123 Connect for Windows, for Mac OS, and Linux. Survey 123 as an app also allows you to download Survey 123 for ArcGIS, which is a simulated mobile application on the desktop. So what we need to understand is that the Survey 123 works on a mobile and also a simulated mobile on desktop. So you also download it on the same download sites where you can download it for Windows, for Mac OS, and Linux. And using your mobile devices, you get it on App Store, the Google Play, at Amazon, and Microsoft. So all those applications are free to download. But for you to be able to use Survey 123, though the downloads are free, you need the ArcGIS organization account. So what are the requirements for the Survey 123 for web application? For web application, you don't require to download anything. What you require is the ArcGIS organization account so that you can author, publish, and share the survey. Any modern browser allows you to create Survey 123 on the web. So therefore, the Survey 123 for web application, you don't require anything. You only require the internet and your web browser and the ArcGIS organization account. So what about the features? Anytime, anywhere. So these are some of the most prominent features of Survey 123. You capture data anytime, anywhere, using your mobile devices, any time of the day, any time of the night. On your smartphone, use your laptop, use your desktop as native app, and your browser. So on any device, anywhere. Then the other prominent feature is the smart survey. So you design your surveys that speed the correction process. So you tailor-make your own surveys so that once you start collecting data, you are collecting data based on what attributes information that you want to correct. So you predefine questions that use logical method. So for instance, you want to ask somebody what is your age, then they say your age, then if it is 18, you are an adult. If you are less than 18, you are a child or a teenager. So all those logics, you can incorporate them when you are designing the survey. So it provides easy to fill answers so that the answers, either the choices, are already predefined depending on what you want your the questionnaires to be. So you can embed audio and images on your form, meaning that you can take photos of the people you are interviewing, or you can take photos of the pictures of the buildings that maybe you are collecting information about. So security. ArcGIS as a platform is a secure and a trustworthy location. So by virtue of that, you can host your Survey 123 for ArcGIS in your own IT infrastructure with ArcGIS Enterprise and take full control. So there are two options. If you want to host your Survey 123 on your infrastructure through the portal, then you can do that. If you also want to host your Survey 123 on the cloud, you can still do that using the ArcGIS online account. So build into ArcGIS. So you combine the power of smartphone and geography. The Survey 123 allows you to create forms which are geospatial aware. They have a component of geography, and therefore rather than connecting attribute information about an object, you can actually embed its geo point, geolocation. So the XY of that point, either in whichever projection, WGS it for, UTM, blah, 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 all those are projections depending with your geographic requirements. Data is immediately available in the ArcGIS platform because it is an integrated system from the field to the office, from the field to the crowd, from the field to the IT infrastructure of your organization. Meaning that the moment you are finished with collecting data in the field, then the data is available when it is published to the other organization, to your peers, and your workmates. Therefore, decisions can be made almost instantly. So you optimize your field operation, you understand and share your data. So as you collect data, you understand the flow of data, you share the same data, and therefore the decisions can be made even when you're in the field. And if there is anything to be either revisited or edited in the field, then this one can be done before the team returns back into the office. So how does it work? Survey 1 to 3 ask questions. Survey 1 to 3 ask questions. So you quickly design powerful survey and publish them into ArcGIS. And remember, we say that the survey 1 to 3 is a mobile application or a web application that is integrated with the ArcGIS platform. So you get the answers by virtue of now using the survey 1 to 3 as an app on your mobile devices or on your desktop. You collect data, enable your workforce with the survey 1 to 3 for ArcGIS mobile app to capture answer in the field. So that one that make it so easy, make the best decision. So you analyze the answers from the field in real time to support decision making. So you don't have to wait to download data, then do some analysis so that you can make a decision. It can be used in real time with the field team and the office team, or the field team can actually do the analysis while they are still collecting data. Okay. So now I'm going to take you through a demo of the survey 1 to 3 so that we can see how we are able to create the survey 1 to 3 form, how we are able to publish that form, how we fill the form on our mobile devices, and how we fill the same data survey 1 to 3 on a web application. So allow me now to just take you through the survey 1 to 3. The survey 1 to 3, once you download it and install, which I have already done, will appear like this. This is the desktop application of survey 1 to 3 Connect for ArcGIS. Now, before we go to the demo that I had prepared, it is important that I show you that this is the home page of the survey 1 to 3 Connect. That is the desktop application, where you can see that there are so many things that you can get from this homepage. There is a survey 1 to 3 community activity, whatever is happening about this, hi fellow survey 1 to 3 user. So you can log in your questions and you can get the discussion over there. But I want us to come to the new survey just to show you that out of the box you have the templates, and these templates are divided into advanced and basic. So later on, maybe we'll see how the basic work, I mean advanced work, because whatever I'm going to use is using the template for advanced. They have different capabilities anyway. Then the sample, you have samples of the appearance. This sample illustrates different appearance type available. So you can start off from these samples, and then you just configure them and customize them to fit your survey. So there is autocomplete. You can use this sample for barcoding, scanning barcode. There is a basic form, accurate location for your choices, accurate location from CSV. So meaning that you can have data that is already in CSV, and then it has a XY coordinate, the latitude and longitude, and you can use that to pull data from that and compute the location. You can also calculate location from that. So you can do so many things, and out of the box, as I've mentioned, we have all this. But for now, let me take you straight to the form that I have prepared for this webinar. And this one is a school enrollment. So every time you create your service, they will just be at the home page here. So for now, I only have one. So then this is the survey enrollment. And as we said, using the survey 123 connect, you can see that I have created a school enrollment form where I want to gather information about the school, and so the school enrollment. So in this form, I have the school levels, and I have pre-configured the answers. So the school levels, for instance, the primary, then the school name. This one I leave it for somebody to key in the names. And the beauty of the survey 123 Connect, before you publish and share that app on the web or on the mobile, you test it. What you see here is exactly what you will get once you start using your mobile devices. So, and again, because the school location is a geopoint, as we'll see on the Excel form, it allows you now to capture the school information. Now, once you are outside and you're using mobile devices, which the GPS and the location is enabled, then you will be able to see that this one takes you to your full location. But for testing purposes, and because the server the connect is not actually dedicated for the location, capture that, and you can see at the bottom here there is the coordinate, the 1 degree south of the equator and 35:49 minutes east. So you capture that, and where the pin is, actually you can see that the coordinates are here. So we continue with the form. I just thought that the schools maybe will have a private, public, and all that. So the questions are they have logic, and they are related to enrollment. So for instance, we will go now to the people's. So we have the date of birth, where there's a few dates. It just bring in the calendar for you. Maybe this guy was born in that date. So January this year, I am using the Kenyan standard of school system. I mean the Kenyan system of school, where we have the standard 1 to standard 4. So you can, depending with the school systems, you can either say standard 1 or level 1. That. So was and this, and then have the teachers maybe you'll use the form to capture this information so that it goes directly to their databases instead of filling like that. So information. Now I want us to see how this one is achieved. So his name teacher. So degree in what? So depending with what level from the teacher, so you can have the series on the choices of different degrees. So you have BA. But then if I say no, diploma, so it probes the teacher to give the information. If you don't have a degree, so what? You draw in what? So that one I left it so that the teacher can give, I mean the data collector can type. So, but if the teacher says no, what type of qualification other than that? So maybe the Form 4, you know, so once you are done with this, you can now validate the inputs. So remember this, so data value are valid, okay? This is where you make the form. So let me take you through the Excel form. So when you open the XLS form spreadsheet, that is now where I can call it the factory, where you are able to manufacture this date. Now, one of the conspicuous things about the survey 123 form is that it opens by default. It opens by default with the Excel, Microsoft Excel, if you're using Windows. If you are using Linux, for instance, it will open with the Open Office, and therefore, depending with the operating system that you're using, the Excel equivalent will open for that form. Now, in this survey 123 form, what I want us to see here is that we have the survey. This is now where you create the survey, where you have the logical questions, and the questions that are visible to the person who is administrating the data, the questionnaire, are here in this label. So this label, this is where you put in the names of the questions that you want to be asked. And therefore, this is now the human interpreted. I mean, it is interpreted by the human as in the logical way. But here, the name and the type, this by default, the types are there for you to select. But they are configured in such a way that you add, for instance, depending on the choices. And the name must be unique, without space. Underscores are allowed, but not hyphens, not forward slash or backslash. So we'll see that. Now, for instance, I want us to look at the question that is asking, select one level. Now, on this type, if I click on this, there is this down arrow, which allows you to have the integer, text, select one, node, geopoint, date, time, image, begin, and end. So in a nutshell, the type dictates what type of question or the format of the question, or whether it is a select one, select multiple, or it's a text or an integer that you are going to get in that field. Before we come back to the survey and create maybe one, I want you I want to take you to the choices. This is where you configure the questionnaire to have the choices. So that's because it is a specific questionnaire. If, for instance, you have pre-information about the subject, then you can have the choices. But if you don't, and you want the information to be given, then you leave that text so that, as we'll see what dictates the choices, so that the person administering the questionnaire can be able to gather that information. So we have, for instance, the degree. You can list that, and you can see from the list name, you repeat. If it is the same degree, then you can have the name. Again, it has to be unique name, and then the label: Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Education, like that. Now, I want us to look at the level of the pre-primary here, levels. Pre-primary, I already had primary, then there is secondary, then there is that secondary, and there was the class. So there is the external choice. External choice allows us to have choices for the cascading questions. For instance, the level, you can see that the level here, once you have the level, the primary, secondary, and tertiary, or the university. But then, in those levels, we have classes. So we have different categories of choices or categories of data. So it is at the external choice that you have the freedom of now categorizing data into subcategories or subtitle or subtopic. So in our case, we are having level and a class standalone, standard one. You can see the label again is repeated. But then I have introduced another column here called level, which this level is repeated for this level here. So you can see that it is actually, this is relevant to class. The primaries, we have classes. For secondaries, the class, we have the form 1, form 2, like that. So it allows us to categorize the data. And therefore, when you want to have data that is cascading, and you want data that is actually having different categories, this is what this is the advantage of using the external choice, or the external choices help you to now tailor make the data and organize that. So then the settings, these are by default where you put the form. Then the survey is done. So now let me just take you direct to survey 123 itself. The survey 123 Connect allows you now to get the mobile version of this. But remember, one thing that I was supposed to have mentioned to you is that for you to see this, you're supposed to publish this. Once you are finished with the form, you're supposed to publish this, and you publish this by logging into your account, the ArcGIS organization account, which I am doing right now. This will help you now to be able to publish. So you sign in, okay. So once I'm there, it will publish. But because I had published this one, it will ask me, see, like now, survey will be updated without affecting the existing. So I just say publish. So it is now publishing to the cloud, and I will be able to get this survey once it is published. So I do the same here. I sign in, and after signing in using the same credential, now assuming this is my mobile, my mobile phone, so I'm going to use the same credentials so that you can see the connectivity and the integrity of devices vis-a-vis the platform, and then I'm able now to get the same published survey 123 on the mobile device. So here, and you can see that there is no survey because I've just logged in for the first time. So you download the survey here. What I want us to appreciate is that all the surveys that I have ever done are already existing. This is now on the cloud, and you can see this was updated today at 10:22 a.m. I can be able now to open the survey on the phone. The assumption here is that this is a simulated phone. So once it is done, you can be able now to have the survey open, and you open by saying correct, and the questions are the same. So you go primary, school is Schule, and this is the one that now allows you to send and publish the crowd. So if, for instance, I am outside, I'm using an actual phone, I'm supposed to be getting the location automatically from where I am studying. So I take that and I just pick that one as Ladom. So the sponsor is private because of time, interest of time. So I can just pick that this guy was born in allowed this, then he's being enrolled on this day. So remember we had tested this. Well, then enrolled to class 1, and then the parent is parent. The mobile number was something like this. So I just want us to appreciate that the teacher's name is Marimu, a degree holder, and that is Bachelor of Science. So once I have that, I just publish that, and then it can, if for instance you are not online, you can actually set later. But because we are online, we can set now. So once we send, and you can see it has an outbox. So the survey is being published, and you can see this is whatever we have already sent. So now, if for instance, I now switch gears to survey 1, 2, 3 on the web, I sign in using the same credentials, I'm supposed now to see my survey, and this actually brings us to the proof of concepts that all these apps are integrated and they work in unison. So the data that I'm going to show you is what we have already captured. So I go to my contents, right, because it's the same ArcGIS organization. So all what we have published has been published to the crowd. And this is the so many surveys. So I go straight to the survey webinar. I know it was a webinar. It's this one. I had already created a map on that. So this one, sorry. Then this is the map. So if I open the map content, you will be able now to see that I have the same published data, the webinar. I mean on the crowd. In the crowd, it's already published. Therefore, all this information is available for analysis when you already publish the data, whether you are still in the field, it is available for others to view, and not only to view, but also to publish. I mean, also to make decisions based on whatever data that you have pushed to the crowd. Now, as it is opening, it is important that I let you know that after this, we have questions and a question session. So I expect you to ask questions based on this presentation or based on this webinar. So if I go back here, it's already opening. Yes, it's opening. And actually, you can be able to see that the map, I have 2 points. There is one that I did yesterday. And actually, you can see that from there, you can be able to see that this is a Nairobi school and all the information that I filled. For now, we have just used this one. Primary, that was a school, a Schule, the private, and all that. So all this data can be published in a map by default. So if I go back to to my home, I want us to explore something that is going to take us through the web. The survey on the web, survey 123 on the web, which is here, and the same content of data that we had is now being analyzed on the survey 123 on the web. So we can do everything either on mobile and get it on the web, and the web also allow us to view data that has been published using the mobile devices. So you can see that this is now the web. You can start analyzing overview. You can see there are 2 records, total of that. One was created yesterday, the other one was created today, and you can do the analysis of the attribute information that has already been pushed there. And actually you can see the school level column. The ones is primary, there are 2, and the information pertaining to that data out of the box without doing any analysis, just from the form, from the field, the information is pushed here, and you can be able to see that, and you can actually even print the current field and share in a PDF and the like. So thank you very much. I want now to welcome the questions